Did we go 4-0 last week? I think we did. I think we ran the board last week. And by we, I mean me. And if you tailed my picks, then not only did you get paid, but you probably did really well last week. Who here made money on my picks last week? I did. And if you tailed me, I'm sure you did too. In fact, some guys parlayed all 4 of my picks and made a whole lot of money. Oh, yes. Now, I know there's nitpickers out there. There's haters and there's nitpickers. And they're going to say, you didn't go 4-0. You lost the Titans pick because when you made that pick, it was plus 7.5. And they lost by 8. Well, that spread officially moved to 8.5. And there's some people telling me that there were sites that were offering 8.5 all week long. So I can easily say that 7.5 was a typo, and I meant to put 8.5. So guess what? Since people are telling me, Jake, we went 4-0. Thanks for helping me win all those picks. If they're congratulating me for going 4-0, then I'm going to go ahead and assume that I did go 4-0. So if you are one of those nitpickers or haters who wants to give me a loss for that Tennessee pick where the spread moved in our favor, go ahead and chalk me up for a loss, you nitpicker. But for the rest of us, we went 4-0. Oh, yes, we did. All right. So anyone here who doesn't care about football, this is a football stream. It's not going to be a long stream. I'm going to do all my scripted picks here in this stream, and then I'm going to take this stream when it's over, and I'm going to edit it. When this stream is over, I'm going to edit it into my pick video, and then I'm going to upload that pick video. So basically, all the things that happen here, I'm going to edit down this stream, and that will be my official pick video that will come out. So for those of you who are here for the live stream, you get the picks early, and I'm going to do a question and answer session so that you guys can ask me questions about certain picks and teams and whatnot, and I can give you my feedback. How does that sound? All right. So before we get to the picks, I just want to thank all of you guys for showing up here live. I had this idea that if I do a live pick show and then I use this footage to make my regular pick video, essentially I'll get more views, more watch time, and make more money. So I was like, why the hell wouldn't I do that? So if you're wondering why we haven't done this live pick show in the past and why this is the first time I'm doing it this way, is because I had a bright idea today that I should do this. So here we are. Yeah. I'm becoming a better businessman. And I know I can edit out all of this stuff I'm saying right now when I make my regular pick video. So I could have a whole lot of fun while I'm being a better businessman. I'm evolving my businessman plan. Yes, we are. All right. So who's ready for some football picks? All right. Now I got 4 picks for you. Last week I had 4. This week I got 4. I'm not going to do 4 every week. There might be weeks where I only like 3 games. There might be weeks where I like 5 or 6 games. But this week I like 4 games, and I'm going to go through each one, and I'm going to tell you reasons to why I'm making a pick, and I'm going to tell you reasons why I'm going to pass. I want you guys to have all the information possible to make the best decision if you are going to bet. And if you are going to bet at your own risk. I don't know what's going to happen in these games. I'm just making what I feel is the best educated guess. And I want you guys to have all the best information possible to make the best decision if you are indeed going to wager your hard-earned money. So here we go. Rams at the Titans. We got 5.5 spreads on all the sites pretty much. So my first thoughts when looking at this game is I can see the Rams having another good game and winning. And I could also see the Titans pulling off an upset. So I can see both scenarios in my head. And when I look at the money lines, like there's not a lot of money on the Titans at all, which leads me to believe that maybe they let the Titans upset. But I could also see week 2 being a bit of a payday for the public. So I'm hesitant to just look at public money. So all this public money and stuff, I take it with a grain of salt. So this game, since I can see both outcomes in my head and neither would shock me, this one's a pass for me. So if you guys have an idea who you like in the Rams versus Titans as far as covering the spread goes, let me know in the comments section. I'm going to pass on this one. So I feel like the Rams will win that game, but I'm not confident because I see, the public money. When you see 90 whatever percent of public money on that team, it's pretty sketchy. So being this one's sketchy, it sketches me enough to pass. I'm not going to make an official pick on that one. All right. Yes. Anyone who doesn't like the football picks, I'm doing this for the guys who like football picks. It's going to be a short stream, nothing but picks. And then tomorrow I'll do a non-football stream for all of you people who don't like football and don't care about football. So all of my hardcore fans who like the comedy and the conspiracy stuff, I will hook you guys up tomorrow. I will do a non-football stream and we'll stream for like 3 hours or more. Okay. So this one's for the football heads. I got to run my channel like a business. All right. So here we go. Next pick or next pass, possibly. Seahawks at the Steelers. Steelers are a 3-point favorite. I don't like when the Steelers are a favorite and they have to cover a spread. So I could see like the Steelers winning but not covering. And I could also see the Seahawks pulling off an upset. And I could even see the Steelers beating up on the Seahawks and Aaron Rodgers looking, like he's in his prime in this game. So beings, I can see all those scenarios and I don't feel confident about this one. This is another pass for me. I'm sure the public is going to be more so on Pittsburgh than Seattle. So there's that upset factor there. But again, week 2, I'm sketched out that the NFL might pay off the fans this week to make them think that they're good at sports betting so that they lose more money in the future, making bigger bets. You always have to consider one of these weeks they're going to hook up the fanboys. So this is a game that also kind of sketches me out. The money line feels a bit enticing towards the Steelers, but the +3 feels like maybe Seattle would be the better bet there. So being this one, I could see going either way. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna say bet this one at your own discretion. So let me make this very clear. I'm passing on this one as well. All right, we're gonna move on to Bears at the Lions. Lions are 5.5-point favorites, or you can even get 6.5 points on the Bears if on MGM it shows. So this is one where they're offering a point difference on the books. And I like to use this information to see how enticing they're making these spreads. So if I see like, a 5.5 and a 4.5 or whatever, that's less enticing than, now this other book's giving you a full extra point. So in this spot, I could see a bunch of fanboys wanting to jump on the Lions because Chicago lost their first game. Lions lost their first game. Something's got to give. So I'm sure a lot of fanboys will figure that the Lions are going to have a bounce back game. And they very well could. The Lions could definitely have a bounce back game. Perhaps the NFL pays out the Lions fanboys who got cooked in week 1. However, I see all this money on the Lions, and that sketches me out. Makes me think there could be an upset here. So this is one of those where I can see all 3 scenarios. I can see the Lions winning easily. I could see the Lions winning but not covering. And I could see the upset, because if there's too much money that comes in on the Lions and Vegas just feels like raking this money, they could just have the Bears go in there and sneak away with an upset. So, and then they could have the narrative that the Lions sucked this year after losing their first 2 games. So, beings, I could see this one go all 3 different ways. I'm going to pass on this one as well. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think about this game. It's a pass for me. All right. Patriots at the Dolphins. Both teams lost in week 1. They have the Dolphins listed as a 1.5 point favorite on DraftKings, but over on MGM, it shows you can get 2.5 points if you like the Pats. Money looks like it's equal. So we got what appears to be a game that not as many people are going to bet, and the money seems to be about equal. I like this game. You know what I think? I think this is a perfect week to have a bounce back strategy. I like the Dolphins to have a bounce back win. The narrative is that the Dolphins suck because they lost that first game against the Colts and looked like shit. So the narrative that everyone's spinning is that the Dolphins are going to be a bottom feeder this year, like the Dolphins are going to be a bottom 5 team. I don't buy it. I don't think the Dolphins will be a bottom feeder. I think they will be a middle of the road team, or I think they might even at some point get hot and start scoring a lot of points. And I think they could even contend for a wild card. So I think the Dolphins are going to bounce back, and they are going to easily handle 1.5 or 2 or 2.5. So if this moves to 2.5, I still like the Dolphins. I like the Dolphins in this spot a lot. I think they have the weapons there. And if Tua just has an okay or decent game, I think, somebody like Waddle or Tyreek Hill having a big game makes a lot of sense here. So give me the Dolphins in this pick. Make it an official pick. Dolphins minus the 1.5. And if it moves to 2.5, I still like them. All right. And any of you guys in here who think I'm crazy or wrong or whatever, just remember I ran the board last week. I was the only guy last week who didn't mention Micah Parsons' name and won my picks. Yeah, I won that Dallas game and I won that Packers pick, and I didn't mention Micah Parsons' name. Everyone else is like, oh, the defense and Micah Parsons. Oh, and here's some stats. Oh, and this player and this. I didn't name any of these stupid players. I didn't talk about Micah Parsons, and I nailed those picks. I don't care about the players. I don't care about the talent. I don't care about the defensive ranks. All right? None of that matters. If I accidentally call Cam Ward Caleb Williams, and all you fanboys lose your mind, it doesn't matter. I won my picks. And I think I'm going to do good this week again. So, if I pick a team like Miami and you think I'm crazy, let me know about it in the comments section. But then when I get it right, come back and apologize. The talent is all in your head. All the players are great when they're scripted to win, and all of the players suck when they're scripted to lose. Remember that. All of the players suck, and they're great. Just depend what the scripts call for on Sunday. All right, so now we're moving on. Moving on to the next game. We got the G-Men at the Dallas Cowboys. I see the public ponying up money on Dallas. And that makes sense because they went toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl champs. They covered the spread. So I can totally see the public liking Dallas a lot in this game. So the chance that they have a Giants upset is definitely there. But again, week 2, I'm a little sketched out about backing any of these underdogs of more than 3 points because I feel like maybe this might be a fanboy week where they pay out the fanboys, make them think that they're good at making sports picks so that they can take more money off of them later in the season. So I'm sketched out by this game. I could see the Cowboys like winning but not covering. I could see the Cowboys having a big game there and getting Jerry's house rocking and rolling. And I could see the Giants pulling the upset. So beings, I could see theoretically all 3 different things happen, and none of it would surprise me. I'm going to pass on Dallas and Giants. Bet that one at your own discretion. Like, I'm going to take these big numbers I see on the money line and the spread as far as like these handles are concerned. I take it with a grain of salt. These numbers could change by tomorrow and the next day. In fact, they will. A lot of these numbers by tomorrow will be different. Sometimes you see a bunch of money come in on the other side on Saturday and Sunday. So take these numbers that you see on screen as far as these handles with a grain of salt. The reason I'm showing this website is because it shows the best spreads possible on each site. So like, for instance, you got 4.5 if you like Dallas. You got 5.5 if you like the Giants. So from now on, I'm only using this site so that I can see what the best numbers are that they're offering. All right. San Francisco 49ers at the New Orleans Saints. 49ers, 3-point favorites. This one feels a bit trappish. This one feels like almost too enticing for the 49ers, who did win. They didn't look great, but the 49ers won and the Saints lost. So just based on that alone, I could see a bunch of fanboys wanting to stick this one in their parlay. So I'm thinking the chance for an upset is strong in this game, but I could also see the Niners winning by like 1 point and having a win, no cover. So this one, if you're looking for an upset, I think this one is definitely a good chance of happening. But again, week 2, I feel like maybe they hook up the fanboys with a payday. And so last season, they robbed the fans on week 2. They had mostly all upsets last year. So I don't think they're going to do that again. So I'm kind of worried that this year, week 2, they're going to do a payout day for the public. And so I'm sketched out on a game like this where I would normally go the Saints. So I'm going to pass. So my lean is Saints with the points. That's my lean on that game, but I'm passing. That's not an official pick for me. All right. So this next one is a game I like. This is a game I'm going to make an official pick. So check it out. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Cincinnati Bengals. Jags are getting 3.5 points. Jags won last week. Bengals won last week. And before I get to that, I see I have a super chat from Simone. It says, "Hi, Jake. As always, I love your breakdowns. At the end, can we have Return of the Doink song?" Absolutely. I will sing Return of the Doink once I conclude these picks. I'm almost, I think I'm halfway through already. So we're going to zip through. We'll do some question and answer once I finish these picks. And then I will sing Return of the Doink just before we do the question and answers, just for you, Simone. Thank you, Simone, coming in with our first super chat donation of the night. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. All right. So check it out, guys. We have two teams that won. So those people who saw the Jacksonville game, they handled the Panthers pretty easily. And then Cincinnati just barely squeaked by and beat the Browns by 1 point. So Cincinnati won but didn't cover. Jacksonville won and covered. So I'm thinking people are going to take Jacksonville plus 3.5. But then people who like Cincinnati are probably going to stay away from the minus 3.5, and they're going to want to go to this money line over here. So I'm thinking you're going to see money on both sides of this equation, possibly even equal amounts or near equal amounts. So in this game, I like Cincinnati to cover that 3.5. I feel like Cincinnati at home, they could be scripted to be the front runner in that division. And all they would need to do is thump the Jaguars at home. They would be 2-0, starting out in first place or tied for first place, depending what the Steelers do. And then the narrative could be that Burrow and the Bengals are legit Super Bowl contenders. And so I think that is more likely. So the chance that Jacksonville wins this game, I don't think is as likely as Bengals winning this game. And then I feel like the Bengals having a strong performance and Joe Burrow having a big game, I think is more likely. So I like the Bengals to cover that 3.5 point. And the fact that they struggled last week to cover the Browns, I think that's going to scare people away from wanting to take them to cover the 3.5. And it doesn't scare me at all. In fact, it makes it more enticing. I like the Bengals covering 3.5 all day long till I break my schlong. All right, moving on. We got Browns plus 600. Wow. At Baltimore minus 752. Okay, what that tells me is Baltimore is winning that game. I would be shocked if Baltimore outright loses. Minus 752. What that says to me is Baltimore is for sure winning, but they don't want you to make any money on it. So they're going to want you to pony up $752 just to make $100. If you are in a survivor pool situation, I think that this is the most safe game on the board. After Baltimore blew the game last week, I think them bouncing back and winning this game is almost a sure thing. That's why we see this big number. And then they have to get some money on the Browns somehow, so they're going to offer you plus 600. I would be shocked if they paid that out. Even if the books are saying there's only 2% of the money, I just don't see them letting somebody come along and throw down $100 and make 600, or throw down 1,000 and make 6,000, or throw down 10K and make 60K. I just don't think they're going to do that. So I feel like the Ravens will win. Now, the big question is, are they going to cover this big spread where it's either 11.5 if you like the Ravens to cover, or you can get 12.5 on the Browns? I think the Ravens have a bounce back game. I think the Ravens win this one by 20 points or more. And the reason I think that is because if anyone tries to tease this 12.5 up to 19.5, I think if the Ravens win by 20 or more, they'll clear the teasers. And so after Baltimore blew last week's game, I really like the Ravens to squash the Browns this week. And I'm going to make an extra prediction just for fun. I think Joe Flacco at some point has to either get benched or get injured. I don't see Joe Flacco finishing the season as the Browns starter. The dude's 40 years old. The only other quarterback who's older is Aaron Rodgers. So he's like one of the oldest guys in the league. And I just don't see him being a starter the whole way through. So he's going back to play his old team, right? Joe Flacco going back to play his old team. The chances Joe Flacco gets knocked out of this game, I think, it's definitely, there's potential where Joe Flacco might play his last starting quarterback tonight. His last game as a starting quarterback tonight. Or not tonight, on Sunday. Let me say that again so I can edit out that part where I said where I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay, I'm editing that shit out. I think there's a chance on Sunday it might be the last time Joe Flacco plays as a starting quarterback. Just call it a hunch. And the reason why I have this hunch is because Shedeur Sanders is on that depth chart. If Shedeur Sanders is on the depth chart, that means somehow, some way, he's got to make his way up that chart. So that means Joe Flacco's got to get benched or he's got to get knocked out of the game. So, could this homecoming for Joe Flacco be the end of Joe Flacco? I think there is potential there. So, all these reasons, I'm really liking the Ravens to annihilate the Browns. I don't see that game being close. It would shock me a lot if the Browns won outright and Flacco has a good game. I would be the most shocked out of any game if Joe Flacco has a great game and beats the Ravens. That would shock me the most. So for that reason, I'm liking the Ravens to obliterate the Browns. Especially after they had that meltdown loss last week, and a lot of fanboys are going to be hesitant to put big money on them. This is when you want to take the Ravens. At least I do. So make that a third official pick. I got one more official pick for you. Jeffrey De La Cruz says, I won last week on your pick. Thanks. Keep it up. Oh, I know. Anyone who tailed me last week did very well. So anyone who tailed me last week, you are welcome. All right. Moving on to Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. This is another game I really can't make heads or tails of. I see the Jets are getting 6.5. I could see both things happening. I could see a Jets upset. I could see the Bills winning but not covering. And I could see the Bills spanking the Jets here as well on a bit of a public payout. However, my lean says that if they are going to pay out the money line, they probably won't pay out the spread. So you might see like a Bills win, Jets cover here. I just don't want to be responsible for you guys having a Jets ticket that gets demolished. So if they are going to pay out the public and let the big favorites roll this week, I don't want you guys to be stuck with this 6.5 ticket and then have the Bills beat them by 30 points. So and then I see all this big money coming in on the Bills. So perhaps the Jets do pull off the outright upset. I just don't have the cojones to make that call. And so I want to make smart strategic picks this entire season. So if a game sketches me out at all, I'm just going to pass. And this one sketches me out. So I'm going to pass. Let me know in the comments section who you guys like on that one. I would lean towards Jets cover, but man, there's some teams that like they are as advertised and they're bottom feeders. And when you think, oh, all the money's on the other side, and then that bottom feeder gets whooped, it always just feels stupid. And you're like, why did I take that stupid loser team? 2 years ago, I learned my lesson about backing loser teams based on where I perceive the money to be. Carolina 2 seasons ago, like every time I thought that they were going to cover a spread or pull off an upset, they would lose. And they only pulled off like one good upset the entire year against the Texans. And so I learned my lesson trying to back shitty teams because of the money that you see on these websites. So that's why if the Jets are going to be an as advertised bottom of the barrel team. I don't want you guys to be on the other end of an ass whooping on a ticket like that. So I'm going to stick with a bounce back strategy this week. Every pick I'm making is like a bounce back sort of thing, with the exception of the Bengals, since they won week 1. So all the other games I'm picking are like bounce back strategies. All right. So here's a game. Oh, I went a little too far. So Carolina at Arizona. Arizona, 6.5 point favorites. I could see people, wanting to stick this Arizona money line in their parlay and thinking that Carolina's trash. So week 2, you could definitely see a situation where Carolina plays a lot better, maybe steals that game. I personally can't back the Cardinals. I feel like the chance for an upset here is strong. But again, I've been burned by backing these bottom feeder teams, thinking that the money is lopsided, too much so against them. So I've backed the Carolina Panthers too many times and got burned in the past just because of these damn websites and their money handles. So I don't like this game either. If you guys want to lay that number with the Cardinals, I totally get it. But there's a scenario where the Cardinals turn back into the crappy Cardinals that they usually are. And then Bryce Young has a solid game here to prove everyone wrong. So whenever everyone thinks that a quarterback is a total flop, there's that chance that quarterback goes out and plays a good game. And this could be one of those spots where Bryce Young goes out and plays a decent game. So I could see both things happening here. So I'm going to pass on the Cardinals and Panthers here. No pick on that one. All right. Denver Broncos, 1.5 point favorites at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts looked really impressive, beating the Dolphins week 1. Denver, they beat the Titans by 8. So a lot of you guys covered that spread, right? Just by a 0.5 point. So you have a situation here where both teams won. The public's probably going to be more so on Denver, but I could see some people liking the Colts here because of how good they looked last week. Honestly, this is another game that sketches me out because the Colts could regress and not look as good. And then since Denver didn't cover last week on the majority of tickets, they could have a game where they win and do cover this week. So I could see both scenarios happening here where Denver wins and looks good, or Indianapolis starts out and is the surprise 2-0 team. So there could be that narrative where like Indianapolis is the biggest surprise 2-0 team in the league. There's always that 2-0 team that nobody expected to start out 2-0, and Indy would fit that narrative. I just can't back either team here. So this one's a pass for me. Let me know who you guys think is going to win that game or cover. This could also be one of those games where if the point spread's 1.5 or 2.5, where like you get like a Denver win, no cover, right? So that one's not for me. I'm not digging it. Say some of you guys like both teams, Broncos, Colts. Yeah, see, I have a feeling that the public's going to be kind of split on that one. So I'm going to go ahead and pass. All right. Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles at Kansas City Chiefs. Most people are going to be on the Eagles. Let's be honest. Most people seeing the Chiefs lose 2 games, they're going to look at the Super Bowl champs and they're going to throw their money in that direction. So at first I was liking the Chiefs in this game, but there's that narrative where if the Chiefs start out 0-3, then everyone can write them off as being crappy and not Super Bowl contenders. So the narrative where the Chiefs do start out 0-3 will be that the Chiefs are no longer the Chiefs. The Chiefs are no longer Super Bowl contenders. And all they got to do is just lose that one. Whereas if they win this and defeat the Super Bowl champions and get their revenge for that last Super Bowl loss, then the narrative will be that the Chiefs are back. The Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders. So I could totally see both things happening. I could see the Chiefs becoming Super Bowl contenders with just this one win. They're back. The Chiefs are back with this one win. And I could see the Chiefs having their 0-3 start. Oh my God, they suck now. The Chiefs are no longer the Chiefs. They're for sure not going to win the Super Bowl. I could see both narratives playing out. So for that reason, I'm going to pass on this one. Gonna pass. I don't care about injuries, so I don't give a shit what the injury report says. I don't make my picks based on injuries. A lot of times those injury reports will just randomly change and they'll try and make you make a bad decision with those injuries. Oh, the best cornerback and the best linebacker are banged up. So that means the defense is probably going to have a tough time. And then the defense plays great that week with the backups. And then you have to scratch your head and wonder why you cared, right? This team has their second string quarterback and the second string quarterback sucks. And then that week, the second string quarterback plays a decent game and they win. I've seen it all happen so many times. I don't care about the scripted injury report. So Philadelphia, Kansas City, that's a big game, Super Bowl rematch. And again, I could totally see the narrative for Kansas City starting out terrible or having a big bounce back game and getting revenge on the Eagles. So that's a pass for me. All right. Atlanta Falcons at the Minnesota Vikings. Falcons getting 3.5. Interesting. So 3.5 seems a bit enticing. I could see fanboys wanting to back Atlanta. And then Minnesota, even on the money line, this website's showing that more money's coming in on Atlanta. I could see this one going either way. I could see late money tomorrow and Sunday coming in on Minnesota and flipping these numbers. So whatever these numbers say, I think they will change by Sunday. I think that Minnesota fans are going to back their team in this spot. And I think some late money comes in. So I could see this being more equal by kickoff. You might even see that spread move to 3 to entice more money on Minnesota. So you know what? I'm going to pass on this one as well. Yeah, just not getting a good feel for Falcons at Minnesota one way or the other. So if you guys are going to bet that one, do so at your own discretion. It's not one that I feel comfortable even making a pick. All right, Monday Night Football. We got a doubleheader on Monday night, 2 games. So whenever I see 2 games on the Monday night schedule, I automatically think that they're not going to let both favorites win because then fanboys are going to. So I feel like the fanboys are probably going to want to parlay the favorites. So I feel like maybe one of these is going to be an upset. The question is, which one's going to be the upset? And then I see Houston is favored. So Houston is favored by 2.5 at home. And Houston lost game 1 against the Rams. Didn't look very good. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, beat the Falcons on the road. So I think fans are going to be more so inclined to bet Tampa more so than Houston. Houston being a 2.5 point favorite, I feel like the chance that Houston bounces back at home and plays a strong game here is more likely than Tampa covering on winning and covering 2 in a row on the road. So I feel like Houston having a better game than they did last week sounds more likely to me. I'm going to make an official pick that this Monday night football game here, the earlier Monday night football game, that the Houston Texans cover the 2.5. So I'm going with the bounce back strategy. The teams that looked disappointing week 1, I think these certain teams are going to bounce back in week 2 and play a better game. So just to recap, my official picks are Houston minus the 2.5, Baltimore minus 11.5, Miami minus 1.5. Oh yeah, and then the Cincinnati Bengals minus 3.5. So I like 4 favorites this week. All right, so there you go. Those are my picks. Like them or lump them. All right, so now we're going to fulfill the request by one of my lovely subscribers, Simone Bettina. She sent me a super chat at the beginning of the stream. She wanted me to sing my original hit song, Return of the Doink. Well, it's a parody, but it is an original tune. So here we go without further ado. Return of the Doink, a cappella. No microphone, no vocal effects, pure clean singing. And away we go. Well, I tried to tell you so, but I guess you didn't know. They be messing with field goals, and there's magnets in the poles. You lied to me. All those field goals I thought were so real. You lied to me. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. You lied to me. Oh, all those field goals I thought were so real. You lied to me. Now I cry. Now I cry, cry, cry. Return of the Doink. It is Return of the Doink. Come on, Return of the Doink. And another ball hits the pole. Return of the Doink. Once again, Return of the Doink. A Return of the Doink. And another ball hits the pole. Don't you know? All right, there you go. Return of the Doink. Acapella. Yes, you should be very, very impressed. Yes, I sing that good without any vocal effects to enhance my voice. Pop stars out there are jealous of this raw, natural talent. I know I have a good voice. I used to sing professionally. So I used to sing in nursing homes and charge $75 an hour to sing oldies. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, I had a classic rock cover band where I would sing 70s and 80s and 90s rock tunes. So yeah, I know I sing good. Can I sing like Chris Cornell? Hang my head, drown my fear, till you all just disappear. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? There you go. And it's on the table, the fire's cooking. Well, I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. That's enough of that. This is not American Idol. This is a football pick'em show. All right. So now that we have got through the singing portion of the football show, let's go ahead and do some question and answer. You guys got questions? Bring them on. Question and answer time right here, right now. You guys tell me who you like Tell me what picks you think I'm wrong about. Tell me why you think I suck at making picks, and tell me how I've never played football and don't know nothing about football. This is the time to do it. Tell me how real the NFL games are and that I'm full of crap and that it's totally not scripted. Tell me about how it's only the refs who rig games. And then go ahead and tell me how that latest bang bang pow pow event was totally all legit. Go ahead, tell me all about it right here, right now. Florida Todd says, could you pick an over-under points in one game? No, I don't care about over-unders. So I'm just going to pass on all of them. I'm going to stick to spreads only. Spreads only because those are the most popular. I never feel comfortable about the over-unders because it seems like whenever the public's all on the over and then I go the under, they just pay out the public that week. And I'm left scratching my head wondering why I did that. So I never feel confident making an over-under pick. I always feel like that's a coin flip. And then the sites that say how much money's on the over and under, it doesn't seem to matter as much. Whereas like if the spread shows that the money's all on the favorite and the money line shows that even more money's on the favorite, then I'm like, okay, there's a chance of an upset. Whereas like the over-under, I've been burned so many times trying to figure it out. So I never feel comfortable with the over-under, no matter what the sites say. So I would, bro, but I just only want to make picks that I'm comfortable with. So if I lose the majority of my official picks, well, then at least I only made 4 picks. Whereas when I used to try and pick all 16 games, and then I have a bad week where I lose like 10 out of the 16, or you know what I mean, or more, you know what I mean, then it feels worse. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to take the pressure off of my shoulders by only picking games that I like. And I got to tell you, the pressure is way less this year. I feel so much more comfortable. Like those picks I made, I feel good. I feel like I'm going to hit 3 out of the 4. I'm confident I'm going to smack 3 out of the 4 of those picks. Maybe even 4 out of the 4 again. Now, worst case, I feel like we're going to go 2-2. Worst case. The chance that I go 1-3 or 0-4, I think is slim. I think we're looking good this week. Personally, I think a 3-1 week is very likely. I don't do player props because I can't tell you whether a player is going to be good or suck, whether they're going to score, have a 100-yard game. That sort of stuff to me is like throwing your money away. I don't recommend that anyone bets on that sort of stuff. Now, if you're good at it and you're making money doing that, well, then by all means, continue what you're doing. I'm not trying to tell anyone to stop making money. But if you're getting beat up doing these player props and stuff like that, if you're losing, just stop. Don't do it. Any game, they can have a player be like, ow, I have a boo-boo right there. I need to sit out the rest of the game. So they can have the star running back take 2-3 carries and then get a boo-boo and then sit down. And then you lose if you have him to go over 100 yards or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So I hate player props, and I'm not going to make any player prop type bets or picks at all. Not comfortable, not going to do it. NPNY 1970 said, I missed the Lions Bears pick. If it isn't one of the 4, give me your gut. I passed on that game. So I think the public's going to be more so on the Lions. But being the Lions got demolished last week, I could see the Lions having a bounce back game. So here's the thing. I could see the Lions getting upset. I could see the Lions winning and not covering. And I could see the Lions having a bounce back game and winning and covering. So being all 3 scenarios are likely and won't shock me, I'm just going to toss that one out personally. So Yeah, if I run all three scenarios in my head and I'm like, yeah, I guess that could happen. See what I'm saying? Whereas like there's other games I feel way more comfortable. Like for instance, like do I feel like the Ravens are going to beat the Browns? Absolutely. Do I think that they're going to cover? Yeah, probably. Is there a chance that they win but don't cover? Yeah, but I don't think that they're going to lose. See, whereas the Lions might start out 0-2, and then they could say, oh, the Lions suck this year. The Lions are no longer the Lions. They're back to being the old, crappy Lions, right? And then they could have the Lions bounce back after that and win 2 in a row after that and get all their fans right back on board. So I could see the Lions having an 0-2 start and their fans throwing a fit and then them bouncing right back and in 3-4 weeks have a winning record again. You know what I mean? So I'm just playing this week very cautious. And Lions and Bears divisional game, most of the money probably on the Lions. It sketches me out. So it is a pass. If you're going to bet on it, good luck to you. No, they don't make the Lions always be a losing team. Last year, they were a winning team, made the playoffs. The year before, they were a winning team and were one game away from the Super Bowl. So a lot of people expect the Lions to be good. So them having a season where they like go 9-8 and miss the playoffs could happen. Do I think they're going to be a crappy team and lose most of their games? I don't necessarily think that. But the Lions having a letdown, like a 9-8 season where they just barely missed the playoffs, like on the last game of the year or something. I could see something like that happening because they already have the Lions Stadium sold out. They already rejuvenated that fan base. So now they could have a new team take their playoff spot this year. So you always have to expect in the NFC and AFC, you're going to see like at least 2 to 3 new teams on both sides. They never have the exact same playoff teams go right back the next year. They always have 2 or 3 new teams in each conference. So you got to look at a few teams and say, okay, who's not going to make it this year? And the Lions made it to the playoffs twice. So perhaps this year they have a bit of a down season and they're more of like a middle of the road team. Thanks, buddy. Hopefully you got the information you're looking for. Any of these games, if you guys feel comfortable and I'm not making a pick, do what you feel is best. That's what you're going to do anyway, right? So always go with your own gut. You know what I mean? Whatever you think is going to happen, like don't let anyone else be the reason why you make the wrong decision. So if you make a pick and it loses, then you are the one to blame and not me or someone else. Right? Villa James says Arizona at home. And then I'm not even going to say that dude's name. That story everyone's talking about that don't have anything to do with football. Not going to say a word about it. Not even going to say his name in this stream. This is a football stream only. But a lot of people like the Panthers. So the thing that sketches me about, the Cardinals. So the thing that sketches me about that game is a lot of people are going to have that Cardinals game in their parlays. A lot of people are going to load up on that Cardinals money line, figuring that's for sure going to hit. So Bryce Young and the Panthers having a bounce back game in week 2, that could totally happen. So that one sketches me out. And I'm just not the type of guy who feels comfortable backing the Cardinals as a favorite. So nope, that one's a pass for me. But there's a lot of people who like the Cardinals in that game, and I totally can understand why. Dan Pineda said, dye your hair blonde and talk about the Lions game next time. Well, I talked about the Lions game twice in this stream, and I explained why I'm passing on it. I actually dyed my hair last night because I'm mostly gray. And if you guys saw like what I look like if I don't dye my hair, I'd just be basically a totally silver-haired dude and I would start to look old. So one of the ways I keep myself looking extra young is by dyeing my hair dark brown. And this is the color that it was back when I was in my 20s and early 30s before it turned all freaking gray. So one of these days, I'm going to stop dyeing my hair. I'm just going to give it up and I'm going to be like instantly gray. And all of you guys are going to be like, holy crap, Jake aged like 10 years in like a week. And it's because in my 30s, I started going gray and now I'm 42 and I'm freaking like 80% gray. And I just don't want to be gray. So totally dark haired, bro. Right. And I don't even mind telling you guys that I dye my hair so that I can look young. I also rub raw meat and raw egg on my face, and look how good my skin looks. I'm a 42-year-old man. And you know what? Sometimes they ask for my ID if I try and buy alcohol because I look so young. Ching. All right. No, I've never been to Europe. I would like to go. Wouldn't even care which country it is. I'd like to visit any of them countries over there. Any and all of them. I've only been to Mexico, and I haven't been to Mexico in a long time. So the last time I went to Mexico, you could actually drive across the border without a passport. That's how long it's been. So ever since they require a passport and all this stuff, like I haven't even been to Mexico. So last time I left the country, I was, God, probably 14 or 13 or something. It's a long time ago. Yeah, if you're late, all you missed was me doing picks, and I'm going to do a short stream. I'm not going to carry this out for a long time. So I'm going to do a little more question and answer, and then I'm going to wrap this up. And then I'm going to take this footage and edit it down to my pick video and upload it. So same picks I'm going to upload in my on my channel as a regular video. So what you guys are seeing here is just going to be edited and condensed down into my regular pick video. So those of you who showed up here, you get the picks early. And you get to do the question and answer. I go to the store and I buy the dye with the black lady on the cover with the dark brown hair. The light skinned black lady on the cover. I get the brown black. That way it's extra dark. It stays in the hair longer. Yep, some shitty chemical laced dye that I rubbed on my fucking head. I'm Tom Grossi, and I'm a Packers fan. If the NFL was scripted, I'd make some cringy videos trying to do damage control on behalf of the NFL like a total shill bitch. If the NFL was scripted. And because it is scripted and I am a shill bitch with my head up Roger Goodell's ass, I'm going to make these fucking terrible cringy videos where I talk about if the NFL was scripted, XYZ would happen. A bunch of retards who love to wear jerseys and they think that the NFL is real. They watch my channel and they love me. I'm Tom Grossi. I love sniffing Roger Goodell's farts. I hope my Packers win again next week. We looked so good against the Lions. I like to say we when I refer to my team. I like to refer to the Packers as us and we because I'm Tom Grossi. There you go. There you go. Any of you guys who watch that guy, you're supporting the most cringiest fucking loser hack program online. Just saying. If you watch this program, you're supporting the real shit. One second. Yeah, I'll be done in a minute.
Oh, okay.
I'll be done in a minute.
Okay.
I'll be done. Sorry about that. We're going to be putting new floor into my office. Some of you guys are probably like, it's the NFL. The NFL's knocking at his door. Whenever anyone knocks at my door, there's always people who like come up with all these weird assumptions. They're here to get Jake. They're going to arrest Jake. Oh, the government's showing up. It's the police. Oh, no, it's the NFL. Oh, no. They're going to replace my floor. There's old nasty carpet here in this office, and they're going to replace it with wood laminate, which is going to be really nice. So I'm getting new floor, and my walls are going to get repainted. So he was just asking when I'm going to move my stuff into the other office. So yeah, my room's going to get upgraded. Oh yeah, and the crappy gap in the ceiling, they're going to seal that. So some of you guys like to complain about the ceiling, even though I'm not the guy who built this place. I just rent an office. So some of you guys complain about the craftsmanship. So guess what? It's going to get improved. So all you guys who like to complain, you'll have one less thing to complain about. Nobody cares by. No, people complain about the way my office is built. They're like, look at that gap there in the ceiling. I can't believe you did that. It's like, dude, it's an office that I rent. I did not build it. There's tradesmen out there who love to complain whenever they see some bad craftsmanship. The doggy's right here. Hi, doggy. Doggy. There's Balfs. There's Welfs. There's my Welf dog. So this is Ralphie. For those of you who are new here, I have a beagle. His name's Ralphie. He's going to be a year old next month. So he's still a puppy. He's my baby puppy. He's a good boy. Huh. Him is good cow. All right. Sharon Peters. Gotta love that name. Hi, is Sharon Peters there? Hold on, just 1 minute. Sharon Peters? Sharon Peters? Anyone Sharon Peters? Simone says, Jake, I timed out a troll. Good job, Simone. Good job. All right. Looks like I missed a super chat that came in a few minutes ago. It says, from Dan Pineda, bleach your hair, make it blonde, wrap something next time. No, I don't know. Maybe in the future, one day, I'll do that. But I just went and got some of the cheap dye and just threw it in there so that I could get rid of my gray. Whenever I get a haircut, then all the gray sticks out. So I had longer hair, and all of the brown hair was, that was dyed was visible. And then when you get a haircut, then suddenly I'm like all gray. So then I had to dye it. So yeah, this is how it's going to look for a while. All right. Anyone have any questions about the picks and not my hair? I didn't know we were going to get into my hair that much. I thought you guys would have some questions about the picks and stuff like that. Apparently not. You guys are like, show us your dog. Let's talk about dyeing your hair some other colors, bro. Yes, if there is a betting line, then it is a fixed event. So here's the rule of thumb. If you can bet on it on any of those betting sites, then it's fixed. No exceptions. If it's two small colleges and there's no betting line, oh, well, those guys are going to go play a legitimate game. So there's small colleges, Division 4 schools, Division 3 schools, whatever, the smaller ones where there's no betting lines. And those guys are playing real football. So if you want to go watch real football, the ones where there's no options to bet on those small schools, yeah, those guys are still playing for real. But the Division I games where there's a betting line, oh yeah, those ones have college kids that are going to take dives when told. The officials are underneath the thumb in those games for sure. So if you want to go watch a game that's on the up and up, make sure it's not one that you can bet on. And when you watch two teams play real football, it doesn't look like that stuff on TV that they call pro football. If you look at a real pass rush, it gets there really fast. There's no dancing around in the pocket like in the NFL, where a quarterback will be like, hike! Whoop! Dodge one guy, go through his progressions. Oh, there's the guy I'm going to throw to. No, it don't look like that. If you go watch two competitive high school teams, those pass rushers get to the quarterback fast. It is hard as an offensive lineman to keep a dude from getting to the quarterback who's actually trying. Whereas in the NFL, where everybody's pretending, the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen just run into each other and do the pancake dance on every freaking play. And then they'll have a scripted sack where a guy will, like in like 1 second, just go right past the offensive lineman and get the sack in like 1 second, second and a half. And it's like, dude, how come you ran into that offensive lineman 30 times in a row, but then on that one play where you get your sack, you just went right around him? Why don't you go around him every time? So fanboys don't notice what a real pass rush and what a real defense versus offensive line looks like. It's not supposed to look like this on every play. No, go watch a high school team that's good. Watch how fast their pass rush destroys an offensive line. Anyone who knows about high school ball will know exactly what I'm talking about. You could have two good teams who both have good offensive lines, and it's still really hard to keep a dude from getting around you and getting to the quarterback. Whereas in the NFL, hike! Quarterback has all the time in the world. I'm going to go through my progressions. Should I throw to him? No. Should I throw to him? No. Oh, there's a guy who's open. I'm going to throw to him. Yeah, bullshit. It don't work like that. Positive it's not just the refs. The technology inside the balls that causes it to doink off the uprights 3 times in any given week or more proves it ain't just the refs. And if you don't notice the technology in the ball causing it to doink off the uprights, that means you haven't been paying attention and you're probably a fucking tard muffin. Dude, this guy thinks there's magnets in the ball. That would make the ball too heavy. Dirt! If there's magnets, then people's jewelry would fly off and stick to the uprights. Okay. Just keep thinking that those kickers are kicking legitimately and nothing's happening with those balls that involves technology. Go ahead, continue thinking that, and I'll be the crazy guy who knows for a fact that they're manipulating those kicks. Anyone who dismisses the manipulation of the field goal kicks and tries to say, there's no technology in there. The players are just stronger and can kick from 70 yards away now and make it, and then turn around and miss from 30 because they're inconsistent. They're stronger and more inconsistent. And because they move back the extra point is why there's so many doinks. There's guys who make all sorts of ridiculous excuses rather than just admit that those balls are being controlled by a remote. Almost like a drone. Like once you kick that ball, then somebody can take the remote and make it go whoop, whoop. Like they have a joystick where they can be like, here, I'm going to make it miss. I'm going to have this one hit the doink, hit the upright. Let's hit the doink button and have it bounce off the right upright. Oh, yeah. Did I not? I passed on that game. That game's a pass for me as well. I think I forgot to mention that one at the very end. My bad. Let me go back and make an official pass on that. And then I'll edit this into my video. All right, Chargers -3 at the Raiders, who are getting 3.5. Looks like the public likes the Raiders with 3.5. And then the people who like the Chargers are staying away from the spread more and going with the money line. So here's a situation where you're going to have money on Chargers money line and money on Raiders. I think that this +3.5, you're going to see this number get bigger. More people betting on the 3.5. This one's sketchy to me. Money on both sides, divisional game. Raiders could pull the upset. It could be a win, no cover for the Chargers, or the Chargers could roll and spank the Raiders. So because I could see all three things happening, it's kind of a coin flip in my head. So I'm going to say it's a pass for me. And if you like this game, good luck. So there you go. That one's a pass as well. So I only like 4 games. And I have 4 favorites. 3 of them I think are going to have a bounce back performance. And then the Ravens, I think, are going to demolish the Browns. All right. And one, ballers. And one. Here's the deal. Thank you for the super chat, but I am not going to say that dude's name or talk about that at all in this stream. This is a football stream only. And so I don't want the transcript to involve that guy's name at all. I want this to be pushed along and have ads playing aplenty. I want it to be totally ad friendly. So I've done a pretty good job at keeping it ad friendly. I mean, I cussed a little bit, but that won't matter. But I'm not going to go into that at all in this stream. I'll save that for tomorrow. And if you do your own research, you should already know. If you did your own research and you watch the slow motion replay, the truth will be revealed. Go watch the slow motion replay. Find as many replays as you can that aren't edited. Watch it in slow-mo. The truth will be revealed to you. And then you won't need to hear my opinion. You'll already know. And I'll just be repeating what you'll figure out if you go watch the slow motion. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. So thank you for the donations, super chat donations. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this stream, and then I'm going to edit this footage and make my pick video out of this footage. So thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Good luck if you are going to bet on any of these games. Bet at your own risk. Don't bet more than you can afford to lose. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm just a dude making my best educated guesses as to what I think they will do. Right? So, having said all that, I will see you guys in the non-football stream tomorrow. So, those of you who don't care about football, look for my non-football stream tomorrow. We'll have a 3-hour stream where I don't talk about any of these picks or football, and we'll talk about all the other stuff, okay? So until tomorrow, until next time, I will see you guys in the next video, the next stream, or whenever I see you, all right? Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next time. Peace out. Much love. Goodbye. Nighty-night.